is it just a coincidence that all the biological world looks designed? I think Dawkins famously said that it gives the appearance of design when it isn't actually designed at all, of course, in his opinion. So, any comments on that from the team?
Well, it's a bit like the duck theory, isn't it? If it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, well, it's not a pterodactyl. It's a duck. So, yes, the biological world looks designed, and the evolutionists sort of occasionally give themselves away when they use the language of design, because it looks designed because it is. Yeah. And anyone can recognize something that's designed. We all know the difference between things that are designed and the results of chance random processes. And we spend our lives clearing up the results of chance random processes and trying to reestablish design. So, yes, the biological world looks designed because it is.
But I think Craig made the point, it can look like a fish, but it's still a human, right? It looks like a coelacanth, but it must be a human, We must look like a fish to them. Sometimes there's no amount of reasoning. We keep making the point over and over again. Design takes a designer. And when you look at the DNA, it is very clear that can be no other way. It's so complicated, our mind can't comprehend it. Diane, in your talk, the thing that I was most amazed with was, how it's even designed to go in and look for errors and correct errors. Just as a computer programmer, I mean, that takes a lot of intelligent design and skill. That's what I spent a lot of time doing. You get something that doesn't work out, and it doesn't produce a result or produces wrong results, and you've got to go back and figure out where was it off in the computer program. That takes a designer to build a system that does that automatically, and to know that it would need to do that.
When you look into it, there's no such thing as apparent design, because design always implies intelligence, intent, and purpose in the product. So, for example, if you're looking at a pattern in the sand, well, that's only a pattern that's come about by the natural processes of water and wind and sand. But when you look at true design, real design, it's always something like that castle example, where it's plastic won't do building blocks on its own, and building blocks won't do castles on their own. It always implies outside purpose, intelligence, and intent to get a product that has some meaning.
And time is the worst enemy, because the second law of thermodynamics, things break down, they don't improve.
Well, that's exactly it with this example with the building blocks. And I ask 5-year-olds, I say, if I did that for a week and shook that, would it start to come together as a castle? And even a 5-year-old intuitively knows, no, that won't happen. And if I did that for 1 million years, what would happen? Well, it'd be a big pile of dust at the very best. It would never come together as a castle. Time doesn't help it at all.
And that's what we found as well, wasn't it, Glenn, when we were doing programs in the States, and we had a sort of a dinosaur Lego model with exactly the same point, right? That you have been making, Craig, with the castle. I know you have a model of the Sydney Opera House in the museum, but you just see people's eyes kind of light up, and they make the connection that, oh yeah, even something as simple as a Lego model couldn't put itself together, and that's ridiculously simple when compared to the complexity of DNA, and that in itself is just one tiny component of the complexity of a cell, which comes together to create the complexity of a body, and it just becomes mind-blowing very, very quickly. So